Okay, and today, welcome to having a look today at perfect tenses. So let's have a look at the first thing that we need to take into consideration. When we're talking about the perfect tenses, we're talking about the present perfect and the past perfect and how this affects what is actually is the perfect. If you have a look here, we've got a timeline, all right, and then we have an arrow pointing back in time. This is what the perfect does to the past and the present when we combine it. So for example, if we're talking about the past perfect, we look for one point in the past and we look back. Whereas if we're talking about the present perfect, we look from now, the present, and we look back. Okay, so that's really the essence of what goes on when we're talking about the perfect. So if we have a look at the present perfect, it's nothing new. I'm sure you've all seen it already. So this example we've got is, I have won 3 championships in all my life. Okay, and we're talking about an activity that started and finished in the past, but has a consequence now. All right, so what is the consequence? We've won 3 championships. When did this happen? We know it was sometime in the past. We don't know exactly when. And it's not really necessary to know when exactly this happened. All right, the whole idea is that it happened. So the focus is on the event. And how do we form it? We have the subject, have or has, this depending, of course, on the subject. So if we're talking about third person, she, he, it, has. All right, and then we put the verb in past participle. So when we're talking about the present perfect continuous, here we combine some of the things that we've seen in different in the past continuous and the present continuous. So we know that the continuous, what it adds to the tense is that a duration in time. So when we have the present perfect, we know we're talking about a point from now. We're thinking about a point in the past. And because it's continuous, it has a duration. So for example, I have been living in Uruguay for 11 years. I have been teaching since 2003. We're talking about events that started in the past and are still happening now. All right, so that is the present perfect continuous. When we talk about the past perfect, we know that we're talking about a moment. This is now, so we're talking about the past. And then from the past, we are looking back. So what happened? We tend to call it the past of the past. Okay, so let's have a look at an example. When we got to the airport, the plane had already left. So if we look at our timeline, what do we have here? First, the plane left, then they got to the airport. Therefore, we have had left in the past perfect. So this is the first action that happened in time. Then this happened, and then it's a present. So we have a past event that happens before another past event. Okay? So we form it by using subject, had, and the verb past participle. In the negative, had, not, and the verb past participle. Similar to present perfect continuous, we have past perfect continuous. We know that the continuous gives us duration. We know that past perfect is an activity that happened before another past event. So we have activities, we're talking about past activities over a period of time up to a specific time or event in the past. So here what happened? The bus arrived. But what happened? The bus, they had been waiting. So they had been waiting for an hour when the bus finally arrived. So the first thing that happened was that they were waiting, and then this was interrupted by the bus arriving. How do we form it? With the subject, had, been, and the verb in ing. I hope this was useful for you. Make sure that you check out the different examples you have here on your textbooks, and we'll see you next time.